If I could have your time. All right, so first thing we want to talk about, we're talking about operations with decimals, Olivia. And so, first thing is adding and subtracting. And so when adding or subtracting decimals without a calculator, the key is, and when doing any operation without a calculator, multiplication, subtraction, addition, you line up the decimal point. Okay? You line up the decimal point one above the other. Now obviously, in any assessment that you do at school, you have a calculator to do it. The only time, it's the last time this year, that you won't have a calculator is NAPLAN. Alright, my thing about NAPLAN is that I'm not going to teach to it, but I do need to teach you how to do it without a calculator. That's just a skill you need to know. And NAPLAN is just an indicator test that is meant to show what you're up to. I'm not meant to teach to it. Okay? That's my understanding and how I think about it. But anyway, so I'm just going to go through this. So we've got 2.454 plus 4.23. Obviously on a calculator, you just type it in. But to do it by hand, we do it like this. So we need to have a couple of examples. Yes. Half of it is non-calculated. Okay? So this one, 2.454 plus 4.23. Okay? So we have to add them up. So we add up to 4 plus 0, it comes down. And notice that the decimal point is lined up, one above the other. Okay, so 4 plus 0 here, imagine there's a 0 here. 4 plus 0 is 4, 5 plus 3 is 8, 4 plus 2 is 6, 2 plus 4 is 6. So the answer is 6.684. Alright? Yeah, it's better. Change it to a better thickness. Alright? So, I might press it. Anyway, so that's addition. So you should be able to add things, alright, and do that without a calculator. If someone asks you to add some decimals together without a calculator, as long as you can line up the decimal points, take it step by step, you should be able to do it. Yes, that's right. And I'll do another example. Let's say you have 6.84 plus 3.27. Okay? So imagine that happens. Alright, so the first thing, what's 4 plus 7? It's 11. Now, remember that we put the 1 there, and we have to carry the 10 up to here. So we increase this up to 9. Yeah. Yes. 9 minus 2, sorry, plus 2 is 11 again. Okay, so you've done this in primary school. 9 is 11. This goes up to 7, and that's 10. Okay, so it's 10.11. Need to know how to add. So you can all manage that. All right? Next one is subtracting. So again, you've done this in primary school, Chelsea? Subtracting one above the other, doing it manually. And so we have 4.5322 minus 3.643. Okay, there's a 0. 2 minus 0. 2 minus 0. 2. Here we have 2 minus 3. We can't do that. We need to... Good. So that goes to 2. And this goes to 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. Again, that's 2, so we need to take that down to 4. That goes to 12. That's 8. 4, 3. 14 minus 6 is 8. And so 3 minus 3 is 0. So it's 0.8892. Okay, now, if you're not confident doing this, can I suggest when we do the exercise, spend some time doing a few of the questions manually, without a calculator, so you get into a habit of doing it. So it's good to practice this, and not just type things in calculator. Then can you take your feet off, please? Yes, thank you. And turn in your seat. Thanks. Alright, so that's adding and subtracting. Okay? Make sure that you line up the decimal point. The next one is multiplying and dividing decimals. Well, it's actually applies to any number, but multiplying decimals by powers of 10. So a power of 10 simply means numbers like 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million, etc., etc. A power of 10 means 10 to the power of 10 squared is 100, 10 cubed is 1,000, 10 to the power of 4 is 10,000. So that's what a power of 10 means. Okay, these numbers with zeros after a 1. Okay? So when you multiply and divide by them, when you multiply and divide by these powers of 10, guys, when you multiply by a power of 10, it moves the decimal point to the right the same number of places as the number of zeros. Okay, so you're shifting the place values up. So I can think of it like that, or you're moving the decimal point. So instead of multiply something by 100, it shifts the decimal point 2 places. If you multiply it by 1,000, it shifts it to the right 3 places. Or if it's set by 10, it's 1 place. So because we have this decimal system, it's shifting the place values up by powers of 10, by however many times 10 is multiplied together. So if I do this couple of examples, you get 3.45 times 100. You say, well, what I get is, because I'm multiplying by 100, I move the decimal place to the right 2 places. Moving it to the right 2 places, and so 3.45 times 100 is 345. I've moved the decimal point 2 places. Bethany. 4.556 times 10,000. If it's 10,000, Chelsea, how many places are we going to move the decimal point to the right? How many zeros does 10,000? 4. So how many places are we going to move the decimal point? 4. Because it's the same as the number of zeros. So if we move it 4, if I write these numbers, 4, 5, 5, 6. So we start here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to put a 0 in. So the number is 45,560. Right, Bethany. Thanks. No argument. Come sit down here. Okay, so that's when you multiply by powers of 10. It's the opposite when we divide by powers of 10, it just moves the decimal point the other way, to the left, that's right. Okay, so I'll just move it up to here. When dividing by powers of 10, move the decimal point to the left. We're shifting the place value to right, how do you want to think about it? To the left, the same number of places as the number of zeros. Okay, so again, how many zeros there are in the power of 10? We're moving it that number of places. So if we divide by 10, we move it to the left 1 place. If we divide by 100, we move it to the left 2 places. If we divide by 1,000, take a seat, please. Wander around the room. Okay, so we move it to the left the same number of places as zeros. So if I do these two, 34.2 divided by 10. We move it to the left 1 spot, so it's going to be 3.42. We have 18.6 we move it to the left. We're dividing by 1,000, so it's going to be moving to the left 3 places. So if I write these numbers out first, it can often be helpful. And so I say, well, to the left 3 places, so 1, 2, 3. So what I need to know is, that's where the decimal point is, so it's 0.0186. I'll write it clearly without those lines. 0.0186. You're moving the decimal point. If you're multiplying by powers of 10, you move it up each place along the right the same number of times. To the left, if you see here, 3.34.2 divided by 10 is 3.42. You see what's happening? We've moved it over once. To the left. Right.
What if it was 100?
Move it too. That's right. That's exactly what we said. Okay, good. Alright, so that's our next little bit that we've done. And the last thing that we're going to do is that I'd like you to put multiplying and dividing decimals. Multiplying and dividing decimals. So you can write that heading. So again, mostly you need to do this with a calculator, or you're adding and subtracting. Powers of 10.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we're doing multiplying 2 decimals together. That's different from multiplying by 10 or 100 or 1,000. We're talking about now multiplying 2 decimals with however many decimal places and multiplying them together. Okay. So when multiplying decimals, it's important when you do it by hand to make it clear on how to work it out. The number of decimal places in your answer will equal the total decimal places from the question. Again, if there's 2 decimal places multiplied by a number with 2 decimal places, your answer will have 4 decimals. If you have a question that has 1 decimal place multiplied by a number with 2 decimal places, add them together, you have 3 decimal places. Yes? Okay, so the important thing is, however many decimal places in total you have in your question, in the product, in the multiplication, you will have that total in your answer. Usually. There are cases when it works out that you'll get a 0, which you don't write, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, but basically, you need to be able to sort of estimate roughly what the value is going to be and know that there's going to be the same number of decimal places. Can I move it up? Yes, look. Well, it could be. Oh, it's old and this one. Okay, move it up. So do this couple of. So what I mean by this sentence is, you see in this one, you've got the first number has 2 decimal places, 4.23. That's 2 decimal places. The second number has 1 decimal, that's 5.1. So the answer is going to have 3 decimal places. Or this one, the first number has 3 decimal places. And the second one has 2 decimal places, so the answer will have how many decimal places? 5. Division is a little bit different because it's a bit more complicated process. Alright, so I'll do these 2 examples for multiplication. Just have a look. So I'm going to multiply them. 4.23 multiplied by. Now in this case, you can do it a number of ways, but I'll show you this way. I'll line the decimal places up normally. I'm going to do it like this. I'm not going to line them up for multiplication, but this will work out because I'll show you why. Okay, 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. Okay? 5 times 3 is 15, so the 1 goes up here. 5 times 3 is 15. 5. Here. Oh, you could, but you just know it's 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay? Now we add these up. 3, 7, 9, 5, and 2. Where do you put the decimal point?
Because you add the non-decimal thing and there's 3. So
That's right. So it's 25.97.
That's fine, or you
Am I done wrong?
can make a decimal place on the top. You 2 times 5, and that's the whole number.
You don't need to go 1, 3, 1, 2, 1.
Yeah, but you need 8 times 25.
Thanks. Okay. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. Okay. So 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times, then we have that 1 which you have to add on. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and then you've got 21. Did I correctly this time? 21.573. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Whew. Got to write this down. Okay. But the decimal point goes here because I know that it has the 3 decimal places. Yes. Alright. Now let's think about it. Okay. The next one I could do by hand, but I'm not going to, I'm just going to skip ahead for time. So again, you can just do this with a calculator or by hand. Now, the thing about division with decimals. The thing about division with decimals is that it is actually quite a difficult thing to do manually. The basic idea is, I'll just listen to me carefully. The basic idea is your shift, if in both decimals you change where the decimal point is the same number of places, you can do it without affecting the value. And then you have to do long division. Now, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, long division is not your favorite thing. Okay, don't be interested. Alright, so long division and with decimals, and then make sure that it's a very tedious process. I won't do it now because we're out of time. I will come back and show you, maybe before NAPLAN, and we'll go over this sort of non-calculated stuff, just so that you sort of are aware of it. But it is quite a difficult process. So division, the best thing to do is to use your calculator. And so what we have is these exercises I'd like to do. Okay, but look, so write down the questions, and then start working on it.
How many did you call?